Today we're going to test all of the augments for Jugg on Black Ops 6 zombies. And then at the end, with a good understanding of all of them, I'm going to be giving you a few combinations that will make your armor much better. First, the major augments, and I want to start with Probiotic because it's the most obvious. You go from 250 HP to 300 HP when you have this, and you have Juggernog. This is a very solid choice. I wouldn't blame you if you only run this augment from now on, but I also want to talk about my surprise of the major augments, which is Reactive Armor. This one stuns nearby normal zombies when an armor plate breaks. The reason I say it's a surprise is because I wasn't expecting to like this one as much as I ended up liking it. The stun lasts for about 2 seconds maybe, and it doesn't affect all of the zombies in a giant horde, but I would be lying if I said it hasn't gotten me out of some sticky situations. Because of how many special and elite zombies there are in the later rounds, I always find that I have a bunch of shield plates breaking anyways, so having this effect go off whenever that does happen can only benefit you. And while 2 seconds may not seem like a lot, it can definitely make a difference. It's at least a better choice than Turtle Shell, which I was greatly disappointed with. With this on, armor acts as a shield on your back, completely absorbing damage to that side. However, it comes with the trade-off that you have no damage mitigation when you get hit from the front. This means that whenever any kind of zombie hits you from the front side, you're taking all of that damage with your HP. And while this might seem like a fair trade-off at first, after all you have your back completely covered and you take no HP damage, we come back to the state that the game is in right now, when you have an insane amount of special and elite zombies coming after you after round 30. Any single attack from them, if you get hit in the front, will get you red screen, and all it takes is either another hit from them or a few zombie hits and you go down. I had this happen to me a few times while I was using it in one game, so I pretty quickly saw that this wasn't a great augment to have, especially when you consider that it doesn't even cover you on the sides. Without a doubt, I think this is the worst one you could pick from the major augments. Now let's talk about the minor augments, first with Retaliation. With this one you deal bonus damage while health is low, and I was really surprised at how much more damage you actually do when you are red screening, or in other words, when the heartbeat starts playing in your headphones. For one, I do feel like that actually starts happening at about half of your HP, which I do think is higher than past zombie iterations, but I did test this out with a variety of weapons. First, I had the C9 SMG on Pack Punched. I went from 43 damage to 65, which is a 51% increase in damage. Same thing with a sniper, I went from 268 to 402. I also tried shotguns, I went from 45 to 67 damage, that's a 49% increase. Then I went ahead and tried pack punching my C9 SMG, I went from 87 damage to 130. And then finally I wanted to test out wonder weapons, so I got the ray gun, which went from 2600 damage to 3900 damage, which is a 50% increase exactly. Honestly, I'm surprised they gave you this much of a damage buff with the minor augment, and I definitely think this is more of a fair trade-off than Turtle Shell is. Because me personally, I'm not going to be doing more damage while I'm red screening. I'm probably going to be more focused on getting out of the area as quickly as possible. But I definitely think this augment has its use. The last two are pretty similar in that they affect your armor, but they're actually crucially different, and I think most people might conflict them and think they do basically the same thing. I know that's what I thought before testing these, but first we'll cover durable plates, which slightly increases armor durability. This basically means that each plate requires more hits from zombies in order to break. So with tier 1 armor, it takes 5 hits to destroy 1 plate, and when you have this augment on, it jumps to 7 hits. At least in the range of rounds that I tested all of these augments in, which was from round 11 to 29-ish. Tier 2 was the same thing, 5 without and then 7 with. And while that might not seem like a lot, it's actually a 40% increase in durability. And then finally with tier 3 armor, it normally takes 6 hits to take out 1 plate. And with this augment, it jumps up to 9, which is a 50% increase in durability. Even though you have a little more room for error, I do kind of feel like it gives you a false sense of security, because now when one of your armor plates break, you're down to 162 HP. So now you get through half of another plate and you're suddenly red screening, even though it looks like you have a bunch of armor still on you. Overall though, this does cut down drastically on how much armor you have to keep replacing, which is very nice. Finally, let's talk about hardened plates, where armor plates have more damage mitigation, which essentially means it makes you take less HP damage. Now, I didn't know this before, but this already kind of happens when you upgrade your armor tiers, because when you have tier 1 armor, you take 28 damage from a regular zombie hit, at least on rounds 11 through 29. And when you have tier 2 armor, you go to 21 damage, and then when you finally upgrade to tier 3, you go down to 18. However, this augment makes it so you take even less HP damage, especially on tier 3 armor. But let me run you through the numbers. On tier 1 armor, you go from 28 damage from a regular zombie to 20. Tier 2, you go from 21 to 14, which is a 33% decrease in damage. And then finally, with tier 3 armor, you go from 18 HP damage to 11, which is a 39% decrease. I think the benefits for this one are fairly obvious because once you lose all of your HP, you end up going down. So the less HP damage you can take per hit, the longer you survive. The only downside is that said armor is going to break at 5 or 6 hits, as opposed to if you had durable plates on, which would make it 7 or 9. Right, so now that I've explained and tested all of them, I do think that there are 2 combinations of these that are going to be the best. The first of these is Probiotic in the major slot and durable plates in the minor slot. These two work perfectly together because you're basically increasing both your health and your shield's health. It also completely eliminates my only gripe with this one, which is that it gives you a false sense of security, because even though you have half of your armor still on you, you are low HP. But with Probiotic, that's no longer going to be the case. The second combo, which is my personal favorite and what I'll probably be using most often, is Reactive Armor in the major slot and Hardened Plates in the minor slot. I guess you could also just put Probiotic here as well, but I just really like Reactive Armor because of how many bad situations it's gotten me out of in such a short amount of time. Also, this one without durable plates means that your shield essentially has less hits or less health, meaning that your Reactive Armor ability is going to activate more. And the best part, to me anyways, is the Hardened Plates, which means that you're taking less HP damage per hit of the zombies. I mean, tier 3 armor with this augment, you're only taking 11 HP per hit. Again, at least from rounds 11 to 29. That's still pretty insane. But those were all the Jugg augments and the combinations that I would personally recommend. Let me know what other perks you would like me to do next. I'm thinking of doing one more perk, and then after that I might do one ammo mod and one field upgrade. But just be patient with me. These take a while to unlock, and then it takes more time to test them all, and then even more time to edit them. Just make sure to subscribe so you won't miss any of them.